Hi, and welcome to NC Insights and Innovators, the voices shaping North Carolina's business landscape. I'm Yvonne Morrison, your host, with MVP Video and Promotions in Burlington. And with us today is Stephanie Williams, and Stephanie is the Alamance Chamber's Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And Stephanie has 16 years of experience living and working in Alamance County. She even owned and operated her own small business. Stephanie holds a bachelor's degree from Cornell University and a master in business administration from Wake Forest University. And Stephanie, I know you are passionate about helping small businesses in our area and helping entrepreneurs launch their dreams. In your capacity with the Chamber and your experience teaching and running your own small business, what would you say are the biggest challenges to small businesses here and in Central North Carolina?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a delight to be able to talk about this topic, something that I personally have experienced but love, and am very grateful to be working with the Alamance Chamber to be able to support entrepreneurism in our community. I think there are a couple of challenges that all entrepreneurs face. And my experience has shown me, and that includes my own personal experience in being an entrepreneur, is really not knowing all the resources that are available. And that spans resources through the federal government, for example, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, to the state level, and there are several there. We have the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, NC and our Small Business Center Network, which is a program through the North Carolina Community College System. And then regionally, we've got resources such as the Triad Navigator, an online resource for entrepreneurs for the Triad region. And then, of course, locally, one of which being the Chamber of Commerce. So not knowing what is out there is probably one of the challenges. And then the second is, for many entrepreneurs, they are so excited about the business idea and wanting to get going, but not having a well thought out plan, a business plan. I liken that business plan, which of course will shape and morph as internal and external conditions change, but it really is the foundation on which you're going to build your business. And the process of writing such a plan actually forces the entrepreneur to think through things that they might not otherwise thought of. So the challenge of, yes, typing or writing the plan is probably one of the obstacles. The good news on that side is that there are plenty of free resources to help with that, and also to provide kind of an objective view and to offer feedback. And then finally, I think the third challenge that I would say that comes along for just about every entrepreneur is the degree to which that entrepreneur can embrace an entrepreneurial mindset, which we could probably spend an hour or two talking about just on that topic. But really that is the mindset of creating or building value that's actually in service to others. So whether or not the entrepreneur embraces that and is really focused on building value, something that is valuable to someone else, can be a challenge.
So does your office counsel small business current owners and those wanting to start a business so that you can, tell them to heed these obstacles, to seek help from you, maybe the Alamance Community College Small Business Center, to learn about how to approach this mentally, not only writing the business plan, but being in the mindset, hey, I may not make money right off the bat with this thing, and I have to be patient and build my business. How do you help them with that?
Well, that's a great question. So, of course, yes. My office at the Chamber of Commerce, we're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Frequently, people just drop in, or they might call and schedule an appointment ahead of time. But my role here is to really point them to the resources that we need, or that they need. So when they do come in, we'll sit down. I do want to learn about them as individuals, learn about the business idea or the business that they already have up and running. And in the background, in my mind, I'm thinking about, well, here's maybe 3 resources they might not know about, and I can tell them about it and get them in touch with them. So the role is really to point them to the resources so that they can access them directly and quickly. In many things, time is money, and that applies in the entrepreneurial experience as well.
Because I imagine, as you mentioned, they're so excited, they might not know what they don't know.
That is
and that they
exactly
need help
it.
That they don't even know is available.
That's exactly it, yes. Oftentimes we'll have an entrepreneur come in to see me, and they're asking about money to start their business. And I have no doubt that is a need. That access to capital and financing is a critical element of the entrepreneurial journey, but you actually have to back up a little bit. Well, exactly how much do you need? What do you need it for? And backing it up even further, which goes to my earlier point about the business plan, what problem are you trying to solve? Who are you solving it for? And then lots of ancillary questions that come after that. That's actually kind of the crux of that business plan, if you will. So to actually get them to back up several steps before you talk about money, there's some other questions that need to be addressed. So while I don't actually do real counseling for entrepreneurs, I help them assess where they are and then direct them to other organizations, either here locally or things they can access online, many of which are free. So they have the ability to tap into that, take advantage of that. And those are the resources that are really going to help them kind of start from square one.
I know your office awards a couple of grants and loans. You have those programs, and you have, I guess, a committee through the chamber that helps determine who may be awarded those. Can you tell me about those?
Yes,
and how they're different?
So it is National Small Business Week, and as of last Thursday, the Chamber opened its 3rd cycle of its Small Business Grant Program. So we have 2 separate and distinct grant programs for businesses that are located in Alamance County. The funding for this comes from our Alamance County Economic Development Foundation, and they graciously provide the funding for us with the objective to helping entrepreneurs launch and grow their enterprises here in Alamance County. So the program that just opened last Thursday is our Small Business Grant Program. Within that program, there are 2 separate grants. One for startup businesses 0 to 2 years old, and they can apply for up to $5,000 in funding. And then our second grant is called a growth grant, and that is for businesses who've filed at least 2 years of business tax returns, and they may apply for up to $15,000 in funding. And what this committee that reviews the applications and makes the final decisions on these grants, really what they're looking for is the quality of the entrepreneur. There are questions in the application where the entrepreneur discusses their entrepreneurial journey to date, and kind of we're trying to assess that entrepreneurial mindset. Does that exist? We are also as that grant committee does its review, looking at the use of the funds. What does the entrepreneur say they're going to use the money for? Well, I mentioned that the funder of the program is the Economic Development Foundation. Mm-hmm. So really their priority is things that are going to support the health, the diversity, the strength, and the growth of our local economy. So when it comes to using these grant funds, we're looking for things like adding to the quality of the local workforce. So does the entrepreneur need to purchase special training for their employees so that they can add an advanced product or service that can only be done because they have this certification? Is it a special type of software that they need to grow and expand their markets? Is it some sort of capital investment? Do they need to purchase a piece of equipment to help their business grow? So those are some of the things that we look for in that small business grant program. Now we have a second program, and it's called the Impact Grant. That grant application window will open this fall, and this is for companies who've already kind of gone through the startup years and have demonstrated a viable product or service. And with an infusion of funds, and in this grant provides $15,000, they can take their company to the next stage of growth and kind of accelerate them up through their growth curve. Our winner this past year, where we ran our first cycle, was Haw River Mushrooms. They have a Graham address, but they're down near Saxbaha, and they went through the process and used their funds to purchase a new steamer so that they could scale the growing of the mushrooms that they have on their farms. So this particular impact grant actually has two phases. The first phase is an online application, and our grant review panel looks at those. They pick the top 3 companies that they think have the most potential to grow and scale with the infusion of that grant money. And those 3 companies are invited to a pitch event, and they actually do a pitch in front of a live audience.
That sounds interesting and fun.
Yes.
Because you hear about their dreams and what they're hoping to do.
That's exactly it. It's our Alamance County version of Shark Tank.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So do they go to your website to find information?
Great question. Yes, alamancechamber.com. If you look on the navigation bar on the left, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, click on that. And the next menu that pops up, the first item, Funding, just click on that and you'll see the grant information there.
So it sounds like this is something that anyone in the throes of opening their business or their young business and needing to grow, they really need to go check that out.
Absolutely. There's really a benefit, even if you apply for the grant and you don't get it. So I should note that not all applications will receive funding. Our small business grant program is a competitive program. So not all businesses will receive funding. Or if they ask for a certain amount, they might not be funded at that full amount. But there is value to be gained by going through the process of the application. One of the elements, required elements of the application is a business plan. So just by virtue of having to go through creating that plan, submitting it, the entrepreneur should gain some value in that, just having that experience. And I'd also like to note that both the Small Business Center with Alamance Community College and another organization called SCORE, both will provide free assistance to any applicant that is looking to go through this process. If the entrepreneur does not have a business plan, they will assist with that, as well as some of the other required documents. We are also making this grant available to our local Hispanic community. And as in last year, we had the information available in Spanish and the application available in Spanish as well. And we are partnering with an organization called Prospera, which is specifically dedicated to helping Hispanic entrepreneurs.
And there are a lot of them in this area.
Yes, absolutely, and we definitely encourage them to take a look at this program and apply.
So what is it like working in business development in Alamance County and really in central North Carolina? Because I imagine being in contact and in association with other groups, maybe other chambers and associations that have the same goal, that you see a larger picture of what's happening in our whole area. What can you say about that?
Sure. Well, you know, North Carolina wasn't voted the best state in which to do business for nothing. I know that just recently we came in second.
To Virginia.
To Virginia, yes, but I bet we're going to get it back. Particularly small business and entrepreneurial growth is very strong in our state. So I can only say that the overall environment is tremendously strong. And at all levels of our state, there is great support behind helping small business owners, helping entrepreneurs, because we recognize the economic value of what our small business owners and our entrepreneurs are doing. You know, across the country, they provide nearly 50% of all jobs. And I just learned this recently, that collectively, small businesses generate nearly half of our national gross domestic product. So I'm delighted to see that there is now interest and support surrounding supporting entrepreneurs and driving that. Because if you think about it, that's really the way that we get our innovation. Entrepreneurs bring innovation and quality of life to us. So it's in all of our best interest to support that. So as I mentioned earlier, with all the various support services and funding opportunities, doing business development in North Carolina and especially the central part of the state is great, because we're not having to, you know, we could always use more funding, more resources, but there really is a lot out there that we can take advantage of.
That is fantastic. And, you know, talking about small businesses, these large companies, most of them started as small businesses. You know, once, I guess if you're very wealthy and you can start off, you know, with a sizable financial investment to begin with, great. But most businesses don't start that way.
Most of them do not, that's right. So if you think about it, all the big corporations were once startups or small businesses in their own right. And
someone with a dream.
Someone with a dream. We're identifying a need and wanting to serve people, serve others by bringing that to the marketplace.
So in your role with the Chamber, what have you discovered about our area that surprised you?
You know, a lot comes to mind, but the biggest thing that I think about in response to your question is when entrepreneurs do come and talk to me about starting their business, I'm always so impressed with the passion that they bring with them. And, you know, honestly, pretty much 99.99% of the time, it's never about making money. It's always about serving others. Whether they've come up with an idea on how to make something that is going to improve a life, or they're providing a service that is going to do something good for someone else. And just the passion and the love that they have for that, it's not new. And as we just said, that's usually what drives the entrepreneur. But it's always such a delight to see it every time I get the honor of sitting and talking with someone about their business or their business idea.
Do you have people come in who pitch their idea to you, or they're just kind of feeling out, what help is available? Just, an incredible idea, and you think, why hasn't someone thought of this before? Do you have those experiences?
There are some really clever people out there. Yes. And, most of the time, it was something that was out right underneath all of our noses. Mm-hmm. But it just took that one person to say, hey, there's a problem, and I think I have an idea. We could solve it this way. So yes, oftentimes they do come with the ideas, but sometimes they have already started something, have hit a bit of a wall, and they need to pivot, and they're not sure how to do that. So, but yes, it's great. And then we've also got some entrepreneurs that are doing things that literally just blow my mind, whether it be in agribusiness or technology. It's just really, really exciting to see new things in development.
That is always exciting. So is your office working on anything interesting that maybe we should know about? Any surprise announcements coming up?
So what I can share with you, as I said earlier, my role is to get resources to entrepreneurs and get them there as quickly and efficiently as possible. That really encompasses what we call an entrepreneurial ecosystem. And that is just the environment that we're trying to develop here, with always the entrepreneur and their needs at the center of it. And then all the way around it are things such as government relations, advocacy for small business owners and entrepreneurs. There's always the financing, the banking, the capital needs, other professional services, whether it be legal or accounting or marketing. All these other things are an important element of that ecosystem, as is education, through our Small Business Center or through something like SCORE or our Small Business and Technical Development Center. But the other element in that ecosystem is, I call it community. And that is really developing opportunities for entrepreneurs to get face-to-face with each other and connected to each other. Nobody understands that entrepreneurial journey with all of its really high highs and its really low lows better than another entrepreneur. So one of the things that we are working on is to help develop that community. And when you look across our state, there are some excellent examples of physical places and spaces where entrepreneurs of all different types can meet, connect, and convene with each other. Entrepreneurs get energy, ideas, support from each other. And so we're really looking now into that. How do we create that? Maybe not ourselves, not the chamber creating it, but how do we encourage the development of that actual space where entrepreneurs and small businesses can go? It is sort of the hub, if you will, to help them get that access, but also help them connect to each other.
I imagine, and I remember starting, a small business years ago, it can feel lonely and isolating.
Oh yes, they've often said that entrepreneurism is a lonely sport. And yes, when you're starting out and starting to build your business, you're the only one. Or if you're just a solopreneur working on your own, yes, it can be very lonely. and addressing the community needs is something that we definitely want to do.
Stephanie, is there anything else we need to know about the small business community and its development here in our area?
Well, one of the things, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, one of the things we are doing is the programs, the services for entrepreneurs, the grant opportunities should be available to all entrepreneurs and small business owners in Alamance County. And we have quite a few for whom English is not their primary language, and they may or may not have a full understanding of how our banking system works or how other things work. What are the state requirements when you're starting a business? So one of the things that we are doing is working with the Alamance Dream Center, formerly known as Citygate Dream Center, to help us bring some of these services to our Hispanic community in a culturally sensitive way, but also in Spanish. So we want to make sure that they also can apply for grants, that they can get the business education, that they can get the legal services or the accounting services. So very grateful to the Dream Center for working with us, and also Prospera, as I mentioned earlier, is an organization that is exclusively devoted to Hispanic entrepreneurs, but they can deliver these programs in Spanish on our behalf. So we're really excited about this partnership and moving this forward so that everyone in Alamance County who has an interest in starting a business or is currently working on their own thing can tap into what's available.
I think after speaking with you, any entrepreneur seeking help would feel much more comfortable and energized and confident that not only you, but all these other great organizations are out there to support them. So that is just invaluable information.
Well, thank you. It's, as I said, I'm truly honored to be able to do this work. I absolutely love it. I love the people. But there are some great things, and this is a really great time to start and grow a business. So the momentum is there, the support in Alamance County is there, and it's getting better every single day.
That's fantastic. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to learn more about NC Insights and Innovators, we hope you'll visit the website at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.